What's up, everyone? Adam Prime back again with the Blazing Toku Moviethon. I'm at a loss this week. You know, you can only have so many movies for so many weeks. So, I don't know what I want to do this week, and I haven't decided yet.
I've got something. Here you go.
Ah! Power Rangers the movie? Man, I have a weird relationship with this movie. Guess this is what we're doing this week. Thanks, Bellerock? You ooze, you lose? That's the most ridiculous tagline I've seen. This is a movie I remember vividly renting at a Blockbuster. You don't understand how much I hate that that's a dated sentence. I remember liking this movie as a kid. And the last time I watched it, my thoughts had changed. But it's been a couple years since I've done it, so I guess I'll be right back, and we'll get this on the road. I'm gonna skip a summary because this movie is from '96, and I feel like a lot of PR fans and everyone already know this movie. So why go into a summary? And let's just get right to it, down to the discussion. That was definitely a PR movie from 1996. It's so 90s extreme in every sense of the word. It opens up with them jumping out of a plane and skydiving. But you can't believe it. You better believe they did some sick moves such as... Yeah! They seriously spun around like that, or like this, for like 3 different times in this movie. Was that extreme? I feel like is that seriously what they thought was cool? It makes no sense. It just was there to be cool. I feel like I'm starting this out really strong, but how do you expect me to open except from that? Because after they're done skydiving, they immediately go on to rollerblading. These are some hip kids that are played by probably 20-year-olds. So after we get done with them rollerblading, we immediately cut to a construction site where the construction workers... Because, in most movies, construction workers find something that's almost like demonic or will destroy the earth for some reason, and they conveniently find this weird little sewer lid thing, and instead of being like, hey, should we call the authorities to see what this is? And they're like, nah, let's just open it up. And then a giant egg, like an egg claw thing, comes up out of the ground. And you better believe, shortly after, it cuts to the Rangers going back to the command center, and Zordon being like, it seems like these people have found the secret hiding place of Ivan Ooze. It's just like, oh, good to know, Zordon. You know where all the hidden things are, You don't tell us about them when we need them, but you know where they are. And Zordon looks so weird in this movie. Not saying he looked good in the show, but I don't know. It's just something about you could tell it's a dude in a prosthetic with no nose or ears. He's kind of gross, honestly. If I look at him too long, I'm like, no, I don't want to. No more. I don't want to look at Zordon anymore. And, they're just like, we gotta... Rangers, go get Ivan Ooze before somebody can wake him up. But you know what happens right before they could do that? Rita and Zed are there to wake him up. He's a wake up. They crack the egg open. And they're like, Lord Zed just opens the egg and was immediately like, you gotta defeat Zordon. And he's just like, I'll defeat Zordon, yeah. Deal with him, and just, I'll destroy him. Which, I like Ivan Ooze. He's a cool design. Honestly, Ivan Ooze as a character or as the person playing him, I can't quite tell. Just felt like they didn't care. And I feel like that's kind of great, where it's like, okay, is the actor just phoning it in, or is the character just not caring? I don't know. But I liked him. You know, his weird, like, he had a flute at one point that was kind of funny. And I feel like I'm just going all over the place, but that's just kind of the movie until it comes to a slow crawl. But before we get to that, we pretty much have them be like, and then and all of a sudden Rita and Zed are like, okay, see you later. Okay. It's cool that they got the original actress who played Rita in Jew Ranger, and I think that's a really nice touch. They still dubbed her over, because, you know, the voice is not gonna match either way. But it was cool. Also, like I feel like all the suits in this movie got redesigned a little bit. I feel like Zed's, like, Z antenna kind of was, like, a little shorter than usual. But it was fine. And so pretty much they leave and the Rangers show up. And Ivan Ooze is just, like, you know, not caring and everything and just being like, well, Zordon's still using kids. Here's my kids. And I was just like, what? And then these creepy, like, they all look like Ivan, but, like, they don't have, like, quite the beard or look. They look like gross prosthetic people. They look like Predator prototype rejects. It's just, like, they're not good. Which, this movie weirdly had a lot of grunts to fight. And as I go through, you may notice them. So, pretty much, after that, the Rangers start fighting Ivan's grunts because Ivan leaves to go kill Zordon. And kind of almost succeeds. And they pretty much are like, ugh, and then they morph, which, the movie suits, I kind of like them. They're not perfect. And even when they get their ninjetti powers at the end, all that's different on the suits are just like what's on the emblem, so I'm not going to really go... I like them both. I like the armored look. They're not perfect. But overall, I think for 96, 95, it looked pretty good. Solid thing. Also, this is like kind of like a reinterpretation of how Season 3 starts. So, there is that. But, you know. So after they defeat Ivan's goons and everything, they realize that their powers are fading away. Because it turns out, because they left Zordon unprotected, for whatever reason, Ivan Ooze just knew where to go. Did he walk there? I don't know. Did he teleport there? I'm not quite sure how he got there. He just kind of oozed through the door and was just like, aha, Zordon, I'm playing my flute and blowing you up! And he blew him up. And that's just... And then, like, they go back to the command center to find gross, broken tubed, in like a snuggy turtleneck Zordon, who I didn't know you could make him look grosser. He looked like a shriveled up white raisin in a turtleneck. Like, just dying, and it's just like, oh, I'm dying, Rangers, and they're just like, oh, we're gonna save you, and they're like, he's like, oh, I'll send you to get this new power on this other planet. It's just like, oh, and nobody's ever gotten it before. It's like, oh, thanks. Good to know. And, like, Alpha was just like, I'm using the last of our power, and just sends them off. And, you know, after that, they go to, is it a different planet? Is it a different thing on Earth? I'm not sure. They just kind of go somewhere to get the new ninjetti powers. And pretty much when they first get there, Ivan Ooze sent new goons after him instead of the, like, ones he used earlier. He sent Tangas, which are new Lightning Collection figures of the Tangas, which I can't find. I'd like one, because they look cool. But the Tangas are cool. You know, they're kind of bird enemies. I'm about to say, I can't remember. Did they use them in Season 3? I haven't watched Season 3 in a long time. And, you know, they were just like, oh, and, like, you better believe Billy was like, oh, man, you never know how much it sucks not to have powers until you don't have them. It's like, yeah, no duh, Billy. It's just like, I feel like you say this every time we lose our powers. And, you know, they're getting their butts kicked from these Tangas, and then, like, the animal sage. I don't know. I will tell. Yeah, what was her name? Like Delphine, Daphne. I don't know. She was okay. She was just kind of there. She was just there to be like, oh, save you guys. She was not Ninjor. Not gonna lie, kind of wish Ninjor was in this movie. I do like me some Ninjor. And she just kind of was there to be like, okay, be like, oh, what are you guys doing? And as soon as they're like, oh, Zordon sent us, she was like, oh, okay, let me show you this thing. I'm gonna take you to this forest, and I'm gonna give you guys all an animal, new animals. And I feel like as a kid, and I feel like a lot of people are like, yeah, we rolled with it as a kid. Like, you know, a T-Rex goes into a dragon, into an ape. We didn't question it. We didn't question it at all. And after they get their new animal spirits, they get, like, ninja outfits, which I like that they immediately are like, whoa, we got these ninja outfits. Immediately take off the hood and stuff. It's just like, okay. And the ninja outfits were neat. I like them. Again, they were kind of like the suits again, where they just had the emblem on the chest. And it's neat, you know. And I do like all the new animals and everything. And I'm about to say, nothing's really wrong. And obviously knowing now that they just wanted to reuse Kaku Ranger, like, robot footage, it makes sense to me now as an adult. But meanwhile, it's weird that I didn't question it at all as a kid. And, like, I didn't even watch this when this was new. I watched this, like, on reruns on Jetix. And that's, I'm about to say, and then from there they go into, like, the forest and fight a weird pile of dinosaur bones. And then, like, they just keep cutting back to Ivan Ooze and just, like, him terrorizing the city. You know, the standard villain stuff after he's won. And, like, he's digging up these, like, robotic things that he made 1 billion years ago, I guess. Or 6,000 years ago, I can't remember. And overall, again, it's like this movie felt really slow at times. And I was just kind of like, ugh. Like, last week I almost watched the movie twice. This one made me feel like, I'm like, oh god, I don't even want to think about having to watch this movie again. And that's kind of what drags it down for me. It's like, even though I'm like, I feel like I'm saying like, oh, there's this. I keep going and having things to say, but it's like, it feels so slogged. And then after that, after they get their ninja stuff and they go on their quest to go find the power, which I'm just like, wait, so she gave you powers, but it's not the power? That's weird. And then she just kind of turns into an owl and flies away. And they go on to the forest to fight dinosaur bones! Woo! And they even take a jab at Jurassic Park, because 90s? I don't know. And then they eventually get to the Chamber of Power and, like, fight these stone alligator grunt dudes. Like I said, there's a lot of grunts. And then, you know, we go to the go home and we get terrible CGI Zord and Megazord fight, which I was not going to try to find the time to get a picture of each of these Zords. So if you watch the movie, that's a treat for yourself. But, like, I wanted to be like, oh, these aren't bad for 96. They're pretty bad. I can't defend these. I wanted to go into this being like, no, it's not as bad as some people say they are, but they're bad. Especially the Megazord. Like, and I like the Ninja Megazord. Like, the actual Ninja Megazord, I think it's cool. I hate that they made the cockpit so obviously in the eyes. It does not look good. And then, obviously, in the Zords, they defeat one of them. Ivan gets mad. Like, they form the Megazord. Ivan absorbs or becomes one with one of the machines, and it gets his face. And, like, at first, like, they were using the Shogun Zord sword, which, okay, it just has the Shogun Zord sword, I guess. And then, you know, they later have to get the Ninja Falcon Megazord, Super Mega Falcon Zord? I don't know. And, you know, it's the same Megazord but with wings, so cool, I guess. They throw him into a comet and they save the day. That's Power Rangers the movie. I feel like it's more exciting to talk about than it is to, and saying how ridiculous things could be than to watch it. There's a lot I skipped over. There's like a whole plot line I skipped just because I didn't want to talk about it. So, give a chance to watch this movie. Oh, and before I forget, for most of the movie, Rita and Zed are in a snow globe because Ivan decided he was going to run the show because movie villain outdoes show villain because might as well push them to a side so we don't have to worry about them. But that's all I kind of forgot I wanted to mention. But there are some other things I did leave out. So I'd say if you haven't seen this movie, watch it at least once. If you've seen this movie, you don't need to watch it again. It's not bad, and if you can get some friends together and watch it, I imagine this could be fun. But it's just not that great of a movie overall. And it's also because, there's not really any fun characters. It's yeah, there's some fun moments with the characters, like when Adam admits that he's a frog. I do like that moment where he's just I'm a frog. And just, that's a neat moment, but, it's kind of my problem with MMPR as a whole, is, I don't really, until, the comics or something, I really didn't care about any of these characters. But, what are your thoughts? Did you guys rent this a lot? Did you watch it when it was in theaters initially? What are your guys' thoughts on MMPR, the movie? And, overall, again, I'm on a mixed crossroads where I'm I remember really liking it as a kid, and I'm I feel like it's just too slow for me. I don't think it's, Yeah, like I said, if you have seen it, nah, but I say at least watch it once. But, yeah, you put your thoughts in the comments. If you have any movies that you want me to do on this, put it down in the comments. And I think that's it. Yeah. It was okay. It was an okay week. So, I guess thanks for that, Bellrock. So, until next weekend. Bye.